Imagine this, one US airstrike at Yemen and suddenly the world's economy, oil supply and even the possibility of a new Iran-Israel war are hanging by a thread. Sounds exaggerated? Unfortunately, it's not. Just yesterday, US fighter jets allegedly supported by Israel struck Houthi strongholds in Yemen. Homes were destroyed, women and children killed, and the Houthis are vowing revenge. But here's the scary part. This isn't just about Yemen anymore. This could trigger a chain reaction that pulls in Iran, Israel, and maybe even the entire West Asia region into a deadly spiral of war. So what's really happening here? Why did America strike the Houthis, and how could this small country, Yemen, one of the poorest in the Arab world, become the center of a global crisis? Let's break this down step by step. In the port city of Hodeida, Yemen, an airstrike flattened entire residential areas. According to local sources, at least 8 people died, including women and children, and more than a dozen others were injured. The Houthis immediately blamed the United States, saying Washington is directly responsible. The US hasn't denied it either. Reports also suggest that Israel has been quietly backing these operations. But the big question is, why? Why would the US and Israel be interested in bombing a rebel group in Yemen, a country that most of the world barely talks about? To understand this, you need to understand the Red Sea. The Red Sea is one of the most important trade routes in the entire world. Nearly 12% of global trade passes through this narrow stretch of water called the Bab and Mandeb Strait. Oil, food, electronics, everything you can imagine flows through this choke point. Now, the Houthis have been attacking ships passing through these waters. Sometimes they launch drones, sometimes they fire missiles. They claim they're targeting ships linked to Israel and its allies as a way to show solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. But here's economic fallout. Every time a missile flies, insurance rates for cargo ships skyrocket. Shipping companies are forced to reroute thousands of kilometers around Africa. This adds weeks of delay and billions of dollars in costs. And when trade routes are hit like this, global inflation worsens. Prices of oil, food, and consumer goods rise. So if you're paying more for petrol or groceries, part of the reason could be these attacks in Yemen. Let's pause. Who exactly are the Houthis? The Houthis are a rebel group in Yemen, officially called Ansarullah. They follow the Zaydi branch of Shia Islam and are strongly supported by Iran. Over the last decade, they managed to capture large parts of Yemen, including the capital Sana'a. The US and Saudi Arabia label them as terrorists. The Houthis themselves say, "We are resistance fighters, not terrorists." They argue that the attacks on ships and missiles against Israel are in solidarity with Palestinians. Since the Gaza war erupted in October 2023, the Houthis have stepped up their attacks, even targeting Israeli cities and American warships. So what you're seeing is not just a local Yemeni conflict, it's part of a larger Iran versus Israel proxy war.